Thanks, Josh. I also thrust that in Josh's hands on his way in the door. So, again, another admirable job here. Now, we'll have Geoffrey Gatza, who is the editor of Blazebox Books, one-man poetry dynamo for our city. Off to Philadelphia tomorrow to represent his press and his work in Buffalo, as he does multiple times throughout the year, taking it abroad, being an ambassador, and has a great poem in this book, which complements Donna Hoke's piece on the Silo City events and the grain elevators very nicely. There it is, Geoffrey Gatza.
Thank you very much.
And I feel badly because Aaron was talking about there's no nepotism involved or friendship, but I'm very dear friends with Aaron. I would hold that against me in my poem. But I'm going to change my glasses to at that age. This is entitled, this is the book that's in the Great Lakes Review. It is entitled Buffalo Grain Elevators. Invisible Revenge. Under your wing, a long spear and a concubine. Flourish in stagnant garbage, ringworms, heartening. Shine above, alone. Recoil, two fine fellows. Musical. I kill you, the hour is ours. I will eat your brain to gain those ideas you formerly owned. It is mine, little king. Courtesy and black ears, they are my ears. I will go about in your business. Propriety, haranguing, open, splendid. Sounds vibrate in extremes. I envy my own suffering martyrdom as visions of evil. I mercy commit. Doubt is doubt paradoxes, mastery. I'm going to read two poems from my latest book called The House of Forgetting. And this is from the first section called The 12-Hour Transformation of Claire. Books are available here, so as John said, if you're in a book buying spirit, please buy a copy. 1800 hours. Her dark hair is a tangled thicket of possibility, a mad woman of the woods, a queen of trees, a murmuration of starlings lost to the exultation of the moment, alighting towards the moon, struck dumb with love, hushed in place, a snowstorm. Claire bears her specter wings open to nothing, to white doorways leading her feet into rooms, housing the shreds of ordinary human existence. A drowsy future, embodied in her visions of sleep, cannot now remember the unkindness they retain. Her shape is malleable to her cerulean mood. Words discovered as a wellspring of flowing shrewdness, a parliament of self-governance, ghost dances, her reception ballet, a lost monarchy of banishing perfections performed for mannequins. A coronet of equal moral autonomy rings false, an untrue clang, a hollow note her mind discerns, plucking out as times tables, recalling the chords of peerless sounds hanging in the sparking Googleplex of living words, the life sentences of the long dead. A fleeting success inoculated against the aphrodisiac of supreme power, the holy vertigo of consciousness. Her age of impoverishment, nourished in requiems, oaths, and magic charms, stories of intrigue, spelling her far away over walls of her upbringing as her song fades. What can grief achieve that the orient words of failure cannot? Limitations define us everyone in associative nightmare visions. Beauty is the core of the anesthetic that quells painful outrages. How can we all still be alive after all we have lived through? Word. This is 2300 hours. Claire could not live in the place where she died. Her pleasure, her beauty is a peace, a love found in music and words, afterthoughts. This was, is, comfort, glad, if that is the word, for her to have died without knowing loss. The taking, the surviving, needed for old age, forgetting we are all the same, we are all one, we are all good, we are all bad. The time I pass alone is hard. We are a miracle, a blessing. Old age is experience, something to compare, no longer curious about the world. We listen with our brain, experience, compare time and passing moments. I did my duty. I did my best. When I could, I survived. Survived. So we live, so we die. When we achieve our time, when it comes, will be beautiful. Beautiful. And this is from some newer work that I've just been working on. It's been 3 years working on, but I've actually been able to formulate it into something. It's from a manuscript called Sherlock Holmesing. It's from a word coined by James Joyce in Ulysses, and these are Sherlock Holmes poems.
Are they the ones that were in source material?
No, I changed them around because at this point I wanted to try something different with it. As I said, I've been working on it for years, but all the titles come from cases that were in the stories that actually didn't happen. You didn't hear about. They're making reference. And so I'm going to read a couple, two of those and call it a night. The woman at Margate with no powder on her nose. For very different reasons, we let them die. The denouement, the corruption, the graft, greed and betrayals, the bribes, the appetites, ultimately suicide, sacrificing and laying bare, drained and redesigned, the spectacle, the humiliating defeat, the mumbling unintelligibly, and all that sobbing. These are complex decisions. Their garish mansion, the 5-count indictment, the scheme, the bribery, 20 years in prison, extending for 10 miles, those uncovered letters, the regulated agreements, extraordinary expressions, finding their place on their own, somewhere, somehow, imagine, however improbable, it is now off the shelf and stoops over into the form of love and betrayal. However irregular, it leaves a dark stain upon the carpet that will never come clean. This is called The Loss of the British Bark, Sophie Anderson. Differently, of course, from one another, deductive reasoning and nakedness. The brain will not understand thinking, cannot grasp its inner workings, would not know what to do if it stopped working, cannot reason naked. For you would have thought that you were in a ship. There is a bunk at one end, an electric spark created in the forecastle. We have now to deal with the other. Nudity is the comfort of our technological vulnerability. As we no longer spin our clothing, choice becomes taste. To take the first crossroad on the east side, there is an inn here, the furniture being all swept to one side, dreaming and wishing our own world might eventually be made more like woolen fabric, of clothing woven in curious fashions, of intellect and information. Vivaciously bold, engines and gizmos undress into ghost stories. Thank you very much.